Hello dudes, in Retrospect returned with SSX Tricky on the PS2. It's a pretty old snowboarding game, one of the only sports games I actually like. There's not many sports games I've ever played and actually liked. It's more a case of, well, it's good, but I'd rather be doing it myself. SSX, however, is a very good game. It's mainly like this, FIFA 99 and SmackDown 2 on the PS1 that I actually enjoyed as sports games. But anyways, playing here as Moby because, as you all know, British people have to play as the British players. It's just an unwritten rule. It's just how it goes. I don't make the rules. But SSX Tricky is a game where there's two main game modes. One is called Race and one is called Show Off. And my personal favourite is Show Off just because it's based on tricks. And what it is Race is pretty self-explanatory. You just go through the track. There's about 10-12 tracks. And characters and their boards are classified into three different groups. You have Freestyle, you have Alpine. Freestyle's good at tricks, Alpine's good at racing, and BX, which is kind of in the middle. Moby's a BX rider. And different riders have different boards. Like an Alpine rider will have most of the Alpine boards, but they might have a Freestyle one as well. Yeah, Show Off is basically, you don't have to finish it in a certain amount of time. You can see in the bottom left there is a timer where you have to get to certain checkpoints, otherwise, you die. I say you die. You don't suddenly, like, a fucking Yeti comes out of the bush and suddenly starts to eat you. No, if you do run out of time, the game just ends it. It makes you run null and void completely. You don't get any of the points. Mainly because it doesn't want you to hang around getting points. But what you do have to do is, apart from that little checkpoint thing there, you don't have to finish in any particular time. You basically do as many tricks as you possibly can to get points. Points are shown in the top right. And in the top left you can see like the barriers between each of the medals, bronze, silver and gold. Now, as you do tricks, you'll notice that this bar on the right is filling up, the one that says Tricky. When you get to the top, it fills up a little red disc, and that starts to spin around. And what that means is you've unlocked the Uber tricks, and the Uber tricks are like these insane, ridiculous tricks that make no real sense whatsoever, which basically give you a load of points. And every time you do one of these Uber tricks, it fills up one of the letters from T to Y in Tricky. Now, this all sounds well and good, but why would you want to do tricks in race mode where the objective is simply to get to the end first? Here's the thing, that bar on the side, if you choose to, you can convert this into speed by simply holding down the square button. It basically depletes the bar as you hold it down, but it can be pretty useful in some situations, especially in race. And if you manage to fill up all the letters, i.e. by doing 6 Uber tricks, you get unlimited speed for the rest of the game, which is extremely helpful, believe me. Now, I'm a little bit rusty, as you can see in this. I make quite a few fails, but there have been times when I've got like over 800,000 on this course. It just takes a bit of practice, and in the end, you kind of get the rhythm of the tricks. All the tricks are done with the top shoulder buttons, and you can tweak them by pressing square. That's how you do an Uber trick. You hold down one of them, and then you press square to tweak it. It's mainly about knowing when you can pull off an Uber trick and when you just want to stick to a regular trick. But, yeah, I mean, Show Off's a really great mode. There are definitely levels which are more suited towards Show Off than Race than others. Like, for example, Tokyo Megaplex is completely a Show Off map. You have all these kind of boosts which like fly you up in the air, all these kind of rails and stuff. It's not a great map for race, but then there's another one like I think it's called Alaska or Elysium Alps. Those are really good for races, I think. By winning Show Off and races, you actually advance your character's stats. You think you get a certain amount of points to allocate to whatever you want. They all start with a certain amount of base stats. Like, I can't remember what Moby's good at exactly, but like for example, Kaori's really good at tricks. She's like my second best character. But you basically allocate these points to whatever you want, kind of similar to the Tony Hawk system of allocating different stats. But that's the way you level up your characters. And as you pass certain barriers, you actually go up in like ranks. So say like Sensei, Master, whatever. And with each new rank comes a new costume, which is always nice. The boards, you actually get new boards by doing different tricks. Now there's a thing for each character called a trick book, where basically it gives you a whole bunch of tricks. They're like preset tricks. But a whole bunch of tricks you're supposed to pull off. Some of them are more complicated than others. Like for example, it'll start off by just saying press R1 and hold that trick or something. That's like a basic one, but then towards the end you get stuff like a 720 Misty kickflip box for box stall, whatever. Something like that. And every time you do a few of these, it unlocks a new chapter in the trick book, and every time you unlock a new chapter, you unlock a new board, which is great. I'm using the Uber board for Moby here because I've done all the tricks. The Uber board is amazing, gives you a whole massive boost to stats. It just makes it so much more fun as an experience. SSX Tricky is not an online game, but you can play split screen, which is great fun, and you can play against computers and race. Show Off, you don't actually play against anyone, you just by yourself. Well, unless you're playing with a 2-player, but yeah, anyways, the race is pretty funny because you can actually knock down other players, and it makes it really competitive. They implemented a kind of friend and foe system with the characters. Like, you start off with certain relationships between certain characters, and as you hit them down or something, you basically lose more of a relationship with them. and as you're racing along, if they really hate you, they'll go out of their way to knock you down on the way and stuff, which is kind of funny. It adds a new dynamic to the game, which is always good. As for show-off, you've probably noticed by now the snowflakes that are scattered around the level. If you hit one of these snowflakes while you're in the air or while you're doing a trick, it multiplies your score. So for example, the red snowflake will give you a 5 times multiplier. Those things are pretty hard to find. But if you manage to pull off some ridiculous combo full of uber tricks when you hit one of these snowflakes, you're in the money. Oh, and guys, I'm just going to take this opportunity to ask you guys what game you want to see next. I've only got a few with me at the moment because these are the ones I brought with me to university. So I'm afraid the choice isn't going to be very big. But I'll list a few, see if anything catches your ear. We got Rayman, we got Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer, we got Soul Calibur 2, Okami, 50-cent Bulletproof, yeah, believe it or not, cost me 99p. Soul Calibur 3, Need for Speed Underground, Sly 3, Honor Among Thieves. If any of those games catch your interest... Oh, and Wipeout Fusion, almost forgot. If any of those games catch your interest, then please let me know. I will prioritize whatever comes first. Whatever people want to see most, so yeah, just let me know. And let's hop back to the gameplay a second here. You can see I've got my full boost there, so I can do as many uber tricks as I want now. There's no worry of, you know, losing it when I die or something. But heading towards the end of the map, get the time bonus there. Go for the epic trick! And that was a nice little fail there. I just missed the edge completely. It can be a pretty awkward game in terms of the controls, especially when it comes to flips and turns and stuff. And the grind rails especially. If you don't get the grind rail exactly on, you'll miss it completely. And there's certain points where there's like a jaggedy rock pointing out and you knock into it. And it can be the most frustrating thing in the world when you do a massive combo and then you just hit some rock or something in the air. And it just all goes to waste, which is annoying. But yeah, the score of that round was about 700,000. Yeah, like I said, I think I've got like 800,000 on that one before, but hey, I never said I was good. I'm going to move on to some race gameplay in a second here.
King of the hill and country!
And playing as Marisol, who is an Alpine rider. Now, I really hate race, and I really hate Alpine riders. I'm only doing it to show you a bit of a variety, so don't expect any kind of good gameplay here. Show off is where I'm best. Anyways, weird little trick there, some kind of strange sexual position, I assume. Just racing here on Snow Dream, which is a great map. Go for a little shortcut here. These signs represent shortcuts, although a lot of them aren't actually shortcuts, which is strange to me. I don't know. But take note that in race mode, your speed boost is extremely useful. I still haven't got the hang of when to use it properly, but there are definitely some times when you want to use it. But you don't want to waste it completely, because if you screw up, you'll take a lot longer to get back to your tricky again. You know, I have tried snowboarding once. I tried snowboarding when I was about 10 years old in Bulgaria. Not the most famous of snowboarding countries I know, but hey, apparently you can snowboard there. And I went snowboarding for the first time ever. I'd never been to any kind of ski resort or snowboarding, whatever. And I thought, you know, I'd be the cool kid, I'd try snowboarding first, whereas my family were just going skiing. So I was for some reason put with a group of adults, and I was 10 years old. A little bit intimidating. And as I remember, I was actually left on the slope, which was nice, by myself. As a kid, I had to wander back to the hotel by myself. So yeah, that's my experience of snowboarding. I have been skiing a few times since, and skiing, I have to say, is much more enjoyable. Probably easier to pick up, but some of you guys probably disagree, some of you guys probably prefer snowboarding. But anyways, regardless, we've come to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like rating, and stay tuned for more in Retrospect. I've been Tommy, see you later, bye.